Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. This is Pamela, and you are watching Pam Entertainment TV, where we review movies, television series, and incidents in pop culture to see how those incidents may not affect our daily lives. Listen, little housekeeping. You see it scrolling down at the bottom of the screen. Please subscribe, and once you subscribe, you'll be open to a plethora of videos where I have reviewed movies, I have reviewed television series, and I've also talked about incidents in pop culture. And this is what we're talking about today, an incident in pop culture. Listen, I was perusing Twitter and I came across this. The LA Innocence Project takes Scott Peterson's case, says new evidence supports claim he did not kill wife Lacey. Now, if you are unfamiliar with this case happened back in the day. Back in the day. This happened around 2002. This was the heyday of court TV, court cases, all of those things, a la O.J. Simpson, which happened in the 90s. So, in this time, there was an era of people watching a lot of court cases. And this was one of those cases. This was the case of Scott Peterson being accused of killing his wife, Lacey Peterson, around Christmas time, 2000. Um, was it 2000? It's in the 2000 area. 2002, I think it was. She vanished. She was pregnant. I think she was like 8 or 9 months. She was 8 or 9 months pregnant. She vanished, and then then they found out that Scott Peterson was having an affair with some woman, and one thing led to another. They said they found the baby's body, and then they found Lacey Peterson's body. I don't know how they became separated missing. She was pregnant, but this was a huge case back in the day. This has been over 20 some years ago, and this was a huge case back in the day. Uh, he was sentenced to death, but then his death sentence got commuted to life. And the reason why I wanted to cover this because this is let's just go through the article. I saw this article on Twitter, and I made a comment about the fact that there was a lot of subsequent after he was convicted. The reason why his death penalty was overturned. It had to do with technicalities about jury selection and all of these little different things. And so now we have the Innocence Project. Now, if you're not familiar uh, with the Innocence Project, what they do is that they go over places. This is a nonprofit organization. They go through cases and they they look through those cases to see whether or not the court has made some uh, errors, and they go through these cases and they go through the cases to see if there's an instance where people are innocent. And so it was founded in 1992 by visionary attorneys, and I'm reading from their website, Peter Newfield and Barry Scheck. The Innocence Project has been a forefront of criminal justice reform using DNA and other scientific advancements to prove wrongful convictions. And if you're not familiar with Barry Scheck, and again, all of this comes off of the O.J. Simpson case. Uh, Barry Scheck was one of the attorneys on the O.J. Simpson case, and him seeing the injustices that happened uh, caused for him to start this project and all of this other stuff. Okay, so this is who this, and they're a very respected um, entity. They have released a lot of people from jail. We talk about their nonprofit. They receive 44% of their funding from individuals, 31% from foundation, 12% from their annual benefit dinners, and 3% from the Cardozo School of Law. So 80% of the funds they receive go directly into the Innocence Project program to free and protect the innocents and to prevent wrongful convictions. It- there's a part in their website that says, how do you decide who to represent? We gather extensive information about each case application. Our intake and evaluation staff then researches each potential case thoroughly, sharing findings with our legal staff, and together the combined teams ultimately determine whether DNA testing could be conducted, and if so, whether favorable results can prove innocence. So they do a lot of yeoman's work in regards to picking their cases and figuring out who they want to represent. So, what does that have to do with the Scott Peterson case? So, let me share my screen. So, this is People Magazine's, and it says the LA Innocence Project takes Scott Peterson's case, says new evidence supports claim that he did not kill his wife, Lacey. Now, let's see. We're going to make this a little bit as big as it can go, and we're going to talk about it. All right. So this article was written by Dave Quinn, and we're going to go over it. Lacey Peterson was 8 months pregnant with their son Connor when she vanished on Christmas Eve in 2002. Scott Peterson's conviction in the 2002 murder of his pregnant wife, Lacey Peterson, and their unborn son is now being investigated by the Los Angeles Innocence Project. And you remember, I just read that they go through uh, an intake process. So apparently, this is what's going on. The nonprofit organization known for the work of exonerating wrongfully convicted and incarcerated individuals told People in a statement that they represent Scott now and are investigating his claim of actual innocence. Okay. Lacey Peterson, she was 27 at the time, was 8 months pregnant with their son Connor when she vanished on Christmas Eve in 2002, just 5 years after she and Scott had married. While Scott initially helped look for her, It soon became it soon came out that he had been having an affair and he was made the prime suspect. Uh, I don't know. There was a movie. I don't know if it was a Lifetime movie. I can't remember. Uh, but there was a movie that went out and they talked about this. I made that a little bit bigger so we can see it. There was a Lifetime movie, and I remember it was something about the person that he was having the affair with contacted the authorities or something like that. Again, this was 20 years ago, y'all. So I can't remember all the ins and outs of it. But baby, this was a case. You talking about folks mad. This case had a lot of social implications and political implications, because I think this was one of the cases that made it where when you kill a woman and she is pregnant, they can charge you with the murder of her and the murder of the unborn baby. I think this was the case that sparked all of that off. It was a lot of little different things. I know that the anti-abortionists got into this. I know that uh, domestic violence entities got into this. It was a lot of stuff. I don't remember if there was any indication that there was any domestic violence had in this case, but there were a lot of socio-political entities that got into this case, and everybody was looking for their place to shine, so to speak. And like I said, it was a lot. It had a lot of moral implications because he was having an affair on his pregnant wife, and that made him guilty. They had a whole lot of different things. Now, I'm not here to profess the guilt or not of Scott Peterson. I have another type of thinking going on, and I will get to that closer to the end of this article. All right, I'm gonna read this part again. Lacey Peterson was 8 months pregnant with her son Connor when she vanished on Christmas Eve 2002, just 5 years after she and Scott had married. While Scott initially helped look for her, it soon came out that he had been having an affair, and then he was made the prime suspect. 4 months later, Lacey's body was found in San Francisco Bay, just a mile away from where her unborn baby's body was found. Scott, who is 51 now, was convicted of 2 counts of first degree murder in 2004 and sentenced to death row in 2005. He remained there for 15 years. But in 2020, Scott scored two major legal victories. In 2020, the first victory was in August when he was given the chance to face a new penalty phase trial after his death penalty sentence was overturned by California Supreme Court, who cited jury selection errors by the trial judge. The second victory came in October when the California Supreme Court ruled that a lower court should take a second look at his case to determine whether his guilty verdict should be overturned. And that was Lacey at the time. In court in 2021, Scott's death sentence was officially vacated, resentencing him to life in prison. The following year, a San Mateo County Superior Court judge denied Peterson's bid for a new trial. Now, the LA Innocence Project is seeking new evidence in Scott's original trial, saying that Peterson's state and federal constitution rights were violated. Now, this is according to ABC News. Filings entered on Wednesday and at first obtained by the outlet say that the new evidence now supports Mr. Peterson's longstanding claim of innocence and raises many questions into who abducted and killed Lacey and Connor Peterson. Attorneys for the organizations are quoting updated witness statements, which point to multiple areas of interest, including a December 2002 burglary of a Modesto home across the street from the Petersons. Scott's attorneys have previously argued his wife was killed after she witnessed the man breaking into the neighbor's house during a dog walk while Scott was on a solo fishing trip Christmas Eve morning. Now, I want you to pay attention to that right here, that whole paragraph, and I will read it again. Attorneys for the organizations are quoting updated witness statements which point to multiple areas of interest, including a December 2002 burglary of a Modesto home across the street from the Petersons. Scott's attorneys have previously argued his wife was killed after she witnessed the man, the men, breaking into the neighbor's house during a dog walk while Scott was on a solo fishing trip Christmas Eve morning. Let's continue. Excuse me. The LA Innocence Project are also hoping to conduct new DNA testing on a bloodstained mattress found on December 25th in a burned out orange van discovered nearby. The investigation, they say, will determine if the item contained Lacey's blood, which could be argued links her back to the burglars. Other evidence being sought by the LA Innocence Project, according to the filings obtained by ABC News, includes dozens of items unable to be found, quote, after a thorough search, end quote, of trial files from his prior counsel. Scott's family has long believed his claims of innocence and supported his efforts for freedom. There is no forensic evidence, there is no timeline to this crime. His sister in law, Janie Peterson, said in 2021, Scott Peterson is innocent and we are now trying to reverse that. Pat Harris, Scott's defense attorney, tells People, we are very excited to have the incredible attorneys at the LA Innocence Project lend their considerable expertise to helping prove Scott's innocence. Interesting. 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 So, what does that mean? That's interesting. What does all this mean? So that means that they're going back and they're going to review this. Now, why do y'all think that I looked this up? Why do y'all think that I sat here and was like, Pam, why would you care about all this? Why would you care about Scott Peterson? Because it's interesting. I'm interested, and like I said, I remember this case. I remember the kerfluffle that this case caused, but I don't remember the ins and outs of anything. I remember they had his trial. I believe it was on court TV. Like I said, I worked, so I only saw the ins and outs of it on the news and things like that. But one of the things that's interesting to me is this burglary. Now they say that she witnessed this burglary or she walked by this burglary and that she was killed because she was a witness of this burglary, which is interesting. Now, again, this may be my conspiratorial mind working at best, and that's okay. You know, my conspiracy mind uh, has clued in on some things and has, missed the mark a lot of times. But here's what I think. Did they ever catch the people who burgled that home? And what was the race of those people that they say burgled that home? Interesting. Now they're saying that they're going to conduct some DNA test on an orange van that was burnt out that they believe, I guess, was part of this burglary. But I'm interested to see this, see what's going on. I'm interested. Quite interesting. Who burgled the home? I'm interested to see a thing. And I know people say, Pam, you're race baiting. You're in here and you're talking about these things. But no, this is interesting. This is interesting to me because folks were dead ass. This man did it. He did it. He wanted to be with his mistress. He didn't want to be saddled down with a family. She was pregnant. He wanted to be married, but he wasn't ready for a family. He met this other woman and he wanted to marry her. Well, I don't know if he wanted to marry her. Again, I don't remember all of that, but he was with this woman. Um, all of these little different things that were going on at the time. And so now we see that the Innocence Project is involved and they want DNA testing done on the mattress found in this orange van. And they want to connect that to Lacey Peterson. But tell me what y'all think. Those of you all who remember this case and those of you all that followed this case, let me know what you think of this. Let me know if you think what you think of my conspiracy theory. Let me know. I'm not besmirching the name of the Innocence Project because they have done a lot of good work and they have done their reputation precedes them. That is not it. But I'm just curious and I'm interested to see what do y'all think? Who robbed the place? Did they ever find the burglars? What's really going on here? What is really going on here? All right, people. We do this every week. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and leave your theory down here in the bottom. What do y'all think about this, Lacey? The Scott Peterson case. And if you're not familiar with it, look it up. There is a quick little Google search. You can look up that People article on it, and you can find information on it. But let me know down in the comments. Let me know. All right. Please tell a friend, tell a kin, tell that coworker, or tell that heifer that you can't stand that I'm over here making these videos, child. And just always, people. Bye bye.